Occasionally, while I navigate the wonderful world of Twitter, I stumble upon a tweet that, regardless of how you phrase it, the message is still the same. And that is 100% of the time that I've seen these tweets, it's from women. I'm just putting it out there, tend to complain about people who back in to their parking spots. The way I have seen it phrased is, I just remembered the very first time I ever saw this on Twitter was phrased as, what do people who back into their parking spots have to prove? Why do people back into their parking spots? Why do people feel compelled to park into their spot backed in? I will never understand the people who reverse into their parking spot. Like, what are you trying to prove? And to that, again, regardless of how you phrase it, all I have to say is that I am a person who 100% of the time backs in because I deem it much safer when it's time to exit, because I drive a vehicle that tends to sit pretty low to the ground. And usually there's this fucking bastard, such as what I have parked next to me. It's a giant ass SUV. So I like to look ahead into the future. I am susceptible to blind spots while I drive this particular vehicle. So you better believe I am going to take every precaution that I can to keep myself safe. And if I can minimize the number of blind spots, I can tell you that I feel that inherently makes me a safer driver, because I think safe driving is all about being aware of your surroundings. If I have a blind spot on my rear, there's no way that I can maintain as safe a drive when I cannot see what I'm backing into. And on top of that, you got to consider that, not that I need it because people never needed them before, but I don't have one of those stupid rear cameras. Again, I don't need it, but since it's been invented, some people find it useful, then good for you. But I also like to back into my spot for speed when I'm exiting. So if I don't have my blind spots triggered, such as, say, someone ginormous parking next to me, I like the feeling of being able to sit and being on my way. I also think it's a time-saving technique, but also it's a safe thing for me, because if I'm performing a backing maneuver, anybody could be watching, and I feel like that makes me easy to target if something bad were to happen. Whereas if I'm already driving forward, like what cars were designed to do, I don't have to worry about that. My escape is much easier. And also, I encourage you to give this a try. Like, don't take my word for it, but I believe strongly that I have better control of my vehicle if I'm moving forward. So if I can limit the amount of maneuvers that put my vehicle in a situation when maneuvering it becomes trickier, I'm going to do that. So backing into a parking spot, again, reinforces my belief of safe driving. But in the end, I really think that you bitches are just jealous that that is a skill that maybe you don't have because you don't practice it. Because a lot of the times, especially women, when y'all try to back into spots, I see you going forward and backward and turning to go forward again to then back in. And even when you do all that, you still park crooked. Even if you have a camera, you're still parking crooked. So not only have I seen that comment exclusively from women, but you women are complaining about the people who back into a spot. But when you attempt to back in, you're crooked as fuck. So I really think that you're tweeting that out of jealousy, like out of hate. Again, I'm not saying that 100% of these tweets belong to women, but the ones that I have incidentally seen, which have been about 5 of them in the course of I cannot tell you when was the first time that I saw tweets like that. They come up on my feed every so often, but that has been the common denominator. So maybe, fucking maybe, have some pride in your driving skills. And if you don't feel confident or prideful about them, practice. Get better at this. And maybe you'll be a better driver and safer driver, and you will be advocating for backing in more often. Anyways, you guys, that's my mentality. Literally nobody asked for me to talk about this, just like every topic ever. But it's one of my favorite things when something that I happen to do is criticized, because I get to actually think about what it is that I do and explain it and share it with other people, and maybe other people either relate or do it, but for completely different reasons that I couldn't figure out on my own. And then it reinforces my own value. So anyway, you guys let me know how you feel about this one.